Hi, just wanted to get this video out there to everyone, the public, everyone worldwide if I can, but this is all to do with what's happened to me recently in England, the UK, and I don't think it's really publicised enough. That's why I think I want to get this out there, because I've just been through a health situation, and I know it's happened to a few other people. There's a few people online that's been through it. About a month and a bit ago, I was in my back garden and I got bit by something in my glove. And in the UK, you don't really expect anything to go wrong. You just think, oh, it's the UK, can't be that something serious. I have been bitten abroad before and gone straight to the hospital, because the first thing you think is, what could this possibly be, right? So I'm bit in the back garden, thought nothing of it. The next morning I got this, well, that night actually, I got like a red lump on my back of my thumb here. It was about the size of a pea. And then the next day I wrapped because my wrist was hurting as well, so I wrapped bandage around my hand, just make it felt more secure. And I thought, well, this red thing should just go down. And the next night I woke up the next morning, I was in agony. The back of the thumb there, I mean, you can see it's red now. That was the epicenter of the bite. And obviously by then my hand was that size. It was like 3 times the size. My wrist was killing me. Under here was swollen as well. And so I just went straight to the hospital. I went to St Heliers in Sutton, and then they told me to go to St George's in Bitten. Then obviously I rang family up. As soon as I got into the A&E there, the doctors brought me straight in because of the size of my hand. It was massive. And the doctors both said, you've been bit by looks like you've been bit by a false widow. Now, false widows are in this country. There's people online saying, oh, don't worry, you know, they won't harm you unless you upset them. I put my hand in a glove. I shouldn't have left the gloves outside, I admit that. But your mistake will be putting your feet in your shoes. They're not going to like that either. And a lot of people do that. So the reason why I'm coming on here is to explain what I've been through, and try and emphasise that there is danger. I'm a bit surprised that all the people that have been bitten, because I've checked out and there's been a few, that it's not been televised yet and explained to. I don't think they want to scare people, but I'm on here just to tell you and explain to you that there is a problem in your back garden possibly. Anyway, so yeah, I put my hand in the gloves, went to do something, didn't really think, I remember feeling something, but I just shrugged it off. And then obviously got to this 2 days later, when the swelling went up, I eventually went to hospital in Tooting, St George's. Straight away they said, you can see what's happened, you've been bit by a false widow. They said you've got to be operated on tonight. So, but what was the last time you ate? And I thought, what, this is getting serious. So if I hadn't a vet then, or a couple of hours before, they would have took me straight away. They wanted to get me in as quick as possible because your hand's infected. So anyway, went up to the ward. Couldn't have anything to eat and drink, the usual thing. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Like, I've been bit by a spider in England. How is this possible? Has it escaped out of someone's, you know, like people keep pets or something like that? Is it something that couldn't have been? No, it's a false widow. Okay. Anyway, so I went up for my first operation, and they lanced. You'll see some pictures and videos coming up. The epicenter of my bite, there was 2 marks on my thumb, the fang marks. It bit here, so they cut a square door flap there. They cut under my thumb there, I don't know if you can see it. They also cut the inside of my little finger, just there, incision there, all the way down here, and slightly this way, by about 2 centimetres. They made an incision from the middle of my hand, all the way, and zigzagged on my wrist, so they could open the hand up and get the toxins and the poisons and the infection out of my hand from the bite. So that happened. So I got released from hospital 6 days after. I was in there 6 days. I had 2 operations, right? I was taken down one day on the 15th, and then the second time 2 days later on the 17th. I presume they had done the cutting the first time, They let me out the second time after they cleaned it all out. The second operation, they knocked me out. It was a proper operation. I was down there a few hours, come back, and then I've been out. I didn't get to see the doctors. That's something else that we're trying to sort out now, to get them to explain or debrief on me how and what they actually done. I mean, because I haven't spoken to them yet to know exactly what did they do when I'm inside my hand. But my concern of coming on here today is to prevent, hopefully, warn people. Yes, partially my fault. I left my gloves in the garden, in a bucket. They were out there. There was a hole in my gloves as well. So I'm going to take the blame for that. But what I'm going to say to you is, they can get into your shoes. They can get into your, not so much flip-flops because they're open, but closed shoes, gloves, gardening gloves, in your shed. I mean, you've got to be careful, because they said, people online have said, oh, they don't hurt you only if you upset them. You're going to upset them if you put your foot in a shoe, right? And this is what's happened to people. A lot of bites, apparently, since I've been reading up, happening in people's bedrooms, in their beds, right? So you're in bed and one crawls in the bed. If you go to lean on top of it, it's going to bite you, right? So they are dangerous. Also, I want to say this, that is really important. If you do get bit, don't do what I done and think it's England, it's okay, it's just going to go back down again, it's a small bump. No. You go to the hospital straight away. Straight to the hospital. Don't leave it one night. Don't leave it 2 nights like I did. You go to the hospital. If your child gets bit or you get bit on the foot, whatever it is, don't put it down to, oh, I don't know, maybe it'll just go down like I did. And I'm sure these other people possibly did. We have native in this country spiders that bite and can poison you, and you can even lose limbs. And I didn't realise that, right? Which has happened on a couple of occasions. And so I'm just putting a warning out there for everyone. False widow, FALSEWIDOW. Apparently, I've read up on it. They are native now, but they're not indigenous to this country. They came over here through shipping, bringing fruit into the country since 1890 something. They first got to somewhere like Cardiff and wherever else they were bringing the fruit in over the last 100 years or so. And they spread, they mated, they survived, they've adapted in this country. And I'm trying to put it out there because these other people aren't, it's not known about, even though it's online, and there's no one's done a program on the TV about it to warn people what you know. These things come in your house, which they do, spiders do, they'll hide under the cupboard. You put your hand in the cupboard, you're going to get bit. Admittedly, not everyone's immune systems are the same. So where I couldn't cope with it, some people might have a stronger immune and it might not get to that. I left it 48 hours, very important point. That you need to, if you get bit, don't think, oh, it's only England and it can only be like a little spider in the house. No, you know, if you don't, even if you didn't see it, go to the A&E, book yourself in. It's really important. Even that first night, if it comes up, if it's the size of a pea like my one, and you can see a couple of little marks on there, go to the hospital and get treated, because what I've been through, and you can look on, it's a bit shocking, but please look on there, and then you'll realise what can happen. So it's a time factor. If you're not going to do any preventions, you can buy a spray that I've bought now. I spray outside my doors. I've got screens on my windows I've had up a year. But you can't prevent something happening in the garden, right? So if you're out in the garden, you're doing your gardening, be very careful when you're picking the leaves up with your hands. Check, don't leave your gloves outside or in the shed even, because they crawl inside, and that's what happened to me. Please listen. I'm doing this as a warning to everyone out there. I'm a bit upset why these spiders haven't been talked about before, or there's no education on it out there, or warnings. Seems very bizarre to me, and yet if you go online, they talk about it.
Can we just point out as well that you felt physically ill?
I've been...
You had chills. It started off with chills. You thought you had sunstroke, didn't you?
I had chills. When it first happened, you know, as I told you, I left it 48 hours. I thought maybe, for the first 24, I thought maybe it's sunstroke and maybe it's just something on my hand, this pea thing. And then obviously it escalated, and I had fatigue. I've never had anything like it. hot and cold sweats where my body's been felt cold, but I've got hot sweat on.
And this has gone beyond coming out of hospital. This has gone beyond your surgery.
It's gone beyond surgery, and I'm left to 2 hours of physio every day, 30 minutes each time, spread out about 4 hours apart, to try and get my hand back in line. But you'll see the videos and the pictures of what the hospital had to do to open my hand up to get the poisons and the toxins out. It was spreading up my arm. But my message is out there, as much as the pain and the suffering I have had, because I've broken my wrist before, I've had damage to my leg. It's nothing compared with this. And to be honest with you, another reason I want to put it out, it's the trauma of knowing that you've been bitten. If it was another country, it would be more acceptable in your brain. I can't get around the fact I've been bitten by a spider in England and it's done this.
It's the damage it's done as well, because you can't use your hand, you still can't make a fist.
I can't make a fist, I can't even get it to there.
You've got no feeling in your middle finger.
I've got no feeling in that finger at all, tiny bit, and it's just totally stiff. And without the physio that I'm doing, my own personal physio, I'm doing like, I'm doing like half an hour 4 times a day, spread out about 3 or 4 hours gaps, and then I've got 2 types of massages that I'm trying to break down. You'll see the cuts and wounds, to break down that skin, the scar tissue. The hospital had to do what they do so I can keep my hand. I need to survive. So I want this message to go out. I think I've been on here long enough. I think, please listen to what I'm telling you, right? You've got children out there, don't leave their shoes outside, don't leave. And I mean, obviously, you've got to take precautions, because they do come in. Spiders come in October, but you can buy sprays. You can spray the bottom of your door, around your windows. There are things. You can over worry it and overlook into things, but all I'm saying to you is I put my hand in a glove and this happened, right? The gloves were outside. If you're going to keep gardening gloves, do not put them in the shed. Sheds are full of spiders. Put them in your house. Keep them indoors, in your car, even better, right? And this morning, I wanted to get it out there to everyone, right? There are false widows in this country. There's lots of them about, and they are dangerous. Thank you for listening.